Let's talk to Cut. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to Cut. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It is the last day of February, and tomorrow is March 1st, and we're moving right on, right on. We're moving right along. The month is moving, the year's moving, and so are we. And I want to say thank you to those of you who've been with me for the long haul, who've been joining me. Thank you all so much. You know, when we come up here, this channel is about inspiration. It's about motivation. It's about challenging ourselves to show up better yesterday or show up better today than we did yesterday. And it's also about challenging ourselves to see if we somehow have shown up better today than we did yesterday. It doesn't mean that any day has been a failure. It doesn't mean that any day has been a flop. But it simply means that we're being intentional about seeing what can we do to be our best selves, even in the worst of situations. And life presents itself in such a way that it gives us a chance to just continue to define who we are. It gives us opportunities to just keep showing up our best self. So thank you all for showing up with me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for motivating me. And thank you for challenging me. Of course, we're on our way to the space, and this place is called Better, but we're not on our way by ourselves. We're trying to get there together, trying to make sure that we're not the only person in the winner's circle, because where we're going to the space is called Better. There's room for all of us. There's lots of room at the top for everybody. Several people can be winners, and this is certainly a community of winners. And I want to thank you all for being a part of this community, a part of this village where we can just reach out to each other. So if this is your very first time stopping by, do me a favor. Why don't you just subscribe? And then after you subscribe, just go ahead and hit the notification bell, because it lets you know whenever I've gone live and whenever I've uploaded new content. Now, I have to tell you all something. I have to issue an apology, but I have to also let you all know that last Thursday, for some reason, I thought that I had hit live in studio, but I messed around, as we said in the South, y'all. I messed around and hit the wrong button. So I was not live in the studio. It was recording. So I know some of you all were looking for me. You were thinking, where in the world is Cutler? But Cutler was there. Cutler was talking. You all just couldn't hear me. So what I did, I took that last broadcast and I shared it this past Friday. But again, thank you all, because this platform, it is about encouraging. It is about inspiration. It's about motivation. So sometimes you have to laugh at yourself and keep on going. So that's what I did last week. I laughed at myself and I kept on going, because I got a couple of messages from people who said, where are you? Where are you? But thank you all for sticking with me. Please make sure that you tell other people, come on, let's talk to Cutler, because we're talking about real situations. We're talking about real life. We're talking about real people. And the truth of the matter is this, you all, I want us to be real winners. I don't know about you all, but I live my life so that I can be a real winner in every situation. I want to be a winner every single day in some shape, form, or fashion. And I want you all to be winners too. So thank you all for being here. Let me see if I can shout out the LTTC VIPs. And then I really want to talk to you all about a personal experience, something that happened today, you all. And you're probably thinking, what happened? Because Cutler's talking about how to handle anger. It's not that I'm angry. I'm not angry at all. Again, I'm just thinking about the fact that life gave me an opportunity to define who I am and to show up as the person that I want to be. Life gives us all of these opportunities, you all. Life gives us opportunities to define who we are and to show up as the person that we really want to be. So I'll talk about that today, and then I'll just parlay that into a conversation about how to handle anger. But before I do, let me see if I can shout out the LTTC VIPs that I see on this end. Now, sometimes people say, I was the first one in the chat, but let me see if I can shout out the people who are in the chat. And I'll acknowledge that my reception may be a little slow tonight because I'm working from a hotspot, you all, and I'll tell you that has something to do with the subject tonight: how to handle anger. I didn't fly off. I didn't fly off the handle. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't do anything irrational. But I want to talk about that. I really do want to talk about that. Let's see who's over in the chat. Who beat me over in the chat tonight? It looks like T. Cutler, who says, happy terrific Tuesday, LTTC family. And happy terrific Tuesday to you too as well, T. Cutler. And then my good friend Queen Nita says, good evening, all. Well, good evening to you as well, my friend. And then Jay Song for you says, hey, y'all. Well, right back, hey, y'all, to you, Jay Song for you, as we say in the South. I want to go ahead and get started with our conversation because I'm only here for 1,800 seconds. And I truly hope that this conversation will help challenge us. I know we like the inspiration, we like the motivation, but we don't always like the challenge. As some of the young folks say, we're not always here for the challenge. But I do want to challenge us tonight. I want to challenge us to become a little bit better at how we handle anger. And I'll tell you why I want to talk about that, because anger, while it can be healthy, it can sometimes be unhealthy. And as I started this conversation by saying life gives us opportunities to define who we are, let me give you the backdrop of that conversation, you all, because go and tell people, do me a favor, go and get people that you know who need a little anger management. Invite them and tell them, come on, let's talk to color, because we get ready to talk about some real issues. We get ready to talk about some real situations and some real scenarios. But listen, you all, today, a contractor was working out in the yard. He was doing some work and inadvertently cut the cable, and it interrupted the internet connection that I have here in the house. Well, when I went outside to see what was going on, the gentleman was so apologetic. He apologized over and over and over. He apologized so much until I finally said, please stop apologizing, because you didn't do anything on purpose. And let me just pause there for a moment. I tend not to get upset, or angry rather, with people who don't do things intentionally. If someone does something intentionally, of course, or I think they did it intentionally, then I'm more inclined to become angry. You all talk to me. Let me know that I'm not here by myself. If someone does something to me intentionally, then I'm inclined to become angry. But if I discover that it was unintentional, if it was by mistake, then I may not become angry. I might become annoyed because there may have been some inconvenience, yes. But I tend not to become angry if I discover that someone did something unintentionally. Let me know if that's you all. Let me know if you get angry, whether it's intentional or unintentional. I'm curious to know that. Let me know. Do you get angry even if it's unintentional? Or do you somehow manage to categorize the situation as unintentional and intentional, and then that is how you decide whether or not you're going to become angry or not? I'm just curious. Yeah, McDina, I was telling everybody that I was in the studio, but instead of clicking on live, I clicked on record, so it ended up recording instead of going live. So my apologies, I missed you all. But let's talk about that, you all. For me, if someone does something unintentional, I don't get angry. I try not to get angry. Yes, I may become annoyed, but not angry, because I often say there's a reason why there's a word called mistake. A mistake is not made on purpose. A mistake is not purposeful. A mistake is not targeted at an individual. It's called a mistake for a reason. If it is indeed an honest mistake, it is a mistake. And so I try not to become annoyed. I try not to become angry at that. Today, was I inconvenienced when the cable wire was cut? Absolutely. But was it purposeful? No. So was I angry? No. Was I annoyed? Slightly, yes. And so I have to remind you all, it's not about, you are not defined by your situation. You're not defined by your situation. I'm going somewhere tonight. You're not defined by your situation, but you're more defined by how you handle the situation. How you handle the situation is really what defines who you are. And you have to ask yourself, when life presents these situations, how do I respond? Do I fly off the handle? Do I go from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds? Do I become instantly irrational? Do I fume when someone cuts me off in traffic? You have to ask yourself that. Does my blood boil when my child is disobedient? Anger is common, and it can be a healthy emotion, but it is important to deal with anger in a healthy way, in a positive way, you all. Why? Because uncontrolled anger can take a toll on your health and even on your relationships and your interactions with people. T. Cutler says, I give a little more grace with unintentional. I also try to tell myself it could have been worse. Absolutely. And that's just not a cliche. T. Cutler, thank you for saying that. That's not just a cliche that we use to just pass things over, but it is called a part of anger management. And unfortunately, there are some people who use anger as an excuse to be nasty. Do you all know any people who said, well, I'm sorry, I was upset, I was angry, I didn't mean to go there, but that's just how I am when I get angry? There are some people who use anger as an excuse to be nasty. Well, I was irrational. I wasn't thinking right. I'm so no. You are just a nasty person whose attitude is shrouded under the cloak of becoming angry. That's not healthy. That's not positive. There are people who are nasty, whose attitudes are shrouded under the cloak of becoming angry. Cutler, what do you have to offer us tonight? Just some tips to help us with anger management. Because today I realized I could have handled that situation a different way, but I wasn't angry. I was more annoyed. But then my annoyance just soon passed over because I realized that the contractor didn't cut the wire on purpose. How can you help us tonight, Cutler? I can help you by offering these tips. I can tell you one of the things when it comes to how to handle anger, learn how to think before you speak. Why would I say that? You all, listen, go and get somebody. I don't think it's you all, but go and get somebody if you know they are having problems with anger management. Go and get them. Tell them, come on, let's talk to Cutler, or share this with them. Let them catch the replay. Why is it important? Why is it important, Cutler, to think before you speak? Because once you ring the bell, you cannot unring it. And I've got to say this. A lot of times when we get angry and we become irrational and we say things and we want to go to people and apologize, but people don't have to forgive you. They really don't. Y'all go and tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler. He's talking real good tonight. Once you ring the bell, you cannot unring it, and people don't have to forgive you. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to say something that you say that you later regret. It's easy to do that. Take the time to collect your thoughts before you open your mouth. I know people, I can tell you all this. I know people who have said things, they've said hurtful things and mean things and disrespectful things in the heat of anger. And then they wanted to go back and apologize. But guess what, you all? The person that they said it to, some of the people that they've said things to, they have come to me and said, I will never forget when so-and-so said that to me. So yes, you can go back and apologize to people, but they don't have to accept your apology. It's nice if they do, but they don't have to accept your apology. And once you put it out there, you can't take it back. When you put out something that's hurtful and something that's mean and something that's caustic and something that's irascible and something that's disrespectful, you don't necessarily get a chance to unring that bell. So think before you speak. Think before you speak. Because people in their humanity, yes, sometimes they will try to forgive you, but a lot of times we say things, you all, and people cannot forget the things that we've said. So when it comes to anger management, just think before you speak. Think about this. Remember, once the bell, when I ring the bell, I can't unring it. I can't make them not hear that sound anymore. When I disrespect them, I can't undisrespect them. When I hurt them, I can't unhurt them. When I've been mean to them, I can't become unmean to them. You've put it out there. So learn how to think before you speak. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun. Yes, absolutely. Unintentional, I don't get angry. To err is human. To err is human. Intentional, yes, I get annoyed, but I also try to analyze the situation because you never know what one is going through at the time. Queen Nita, my friend, thank you for saying that. I also try not to speak before thinking because the spoken word cannot be unspoken. That's what I'm saying, my friend. When it leaves your lip, it's like a plane that has taken off. It can land, but it can't untake off. So I suggest you all that we really learn, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart because I try to be such an even-tempered person. Linda, you're right. That sticks and stones saying it's not true because sticks and stones hurt. What is it? Sticks and stones may break bones, but words may never. But words do hurt. Yes, they do. Words pierce. Words disrespect. Words tear us down. Words destroy. Jay Song said, I was fortunate to attend an anger management class. I learned in relationships, most of our anger comes from relationships, power struggles, and losing that struggle is what makes it's what makes us, it's what makes us angry. Absolutely. Well, a lot of times when we learn, it's about power. When I've lost the power struggle, I become angry. Yeah, and that's what happens in relationships. That's absolutely what happens. And a lot of times it is the fear of losing that makes us angry as well. I'm afraid I'm going to lose control. I'm afraid I'm going to lose power. So we become angry. And let's not become an angry people. Let's just not become an angry people. So even if this doesn't apply to you, and I'm so glad to see that so many of you are responding to this, even if we are not an angry people, let's help other people manage their anger. Because again, some people, they're nasty, and they will cover their nastiness. They try to shroud it under the cloak of, I just became angry. But you can't unring the bell. You cannot unring the bell. So let's learn to think before we speak, and let's encourage other people to think before they speak. And then once you think, when you're calm, then learn how to express your concerns. As soon as you're thinking clearly, then you can express your concerns. Learn how to state your concerns. And here's the word, we forget all about this. When you're calm, y'all, then learn how to state your concerns and your needs. What is it that you needed in the moment that you didn't get? That is why you may have become angry. There was something that I needed, but I didn't get. And learn how to state your concerns and your needs clearly without trying to hurt the other person, or without, thank you, Jay-Song, for you, or without trying to control them. A lot of times, anger is so connected to control and manipulation. Anger so many times is connected to control and manipulation. But we've got to work on that. Learn how to express your concerns and learn how to express your needs when you're calm. What else would you suggest, Cutler? I would suggest that you do something to reduce the stress. When I was growing up, one of the things that we always heard, I'm so glad to see so many of you all joining. Let's see, Marissa, today someone apologized to me for talking to me in a disrespectful manner. At the time she did this, I told her not to talk to me like that, and you told her that in a calm manner. Because a lot of times, I could thank you, Marissa, because a lot of times when you've been disrespected, you feel it pierce your soul. You feel it pierce your heart. And as much as you try to forgive people, you still feel the pain. And one thing that I can say to people, you don't have a right to inflict pain on other people. No, you don't have that right. I don't care how angry you get. You don't have the right to inflict pain on another person. So Cutler, what else do you suggest? I suggest that you do something to reduce the stress. When I was growing up, one of the things that my mother and grandmother and grandparents, they would always say, go outside and get some fresh air. Antoinette Squires, I think this is your very first time. Thank you for joining. So if you all do me a favor, and please, thank you, Queen Nita. Make sure that you welcome Antoinette Squires. Thank you so much for joining. CC Edwards, my friend, it's good to see you as well. But learn how to just go and get some fresh air. When you're angry, go get fresh air. Either you're going to go for a walk, go for a drive, do something, exercise, do something. Just go and get some fresh air. It helps you when you're angry. It helps you when you have any heightened emotion, period. Physical activity can help reduce your stress. Just do something. You all know that I'm Southern because I'm going to pull on some of my Southernisms tonight as well. One of the things that I also heard when I was growing up was get somewhere and be quiet. What does that mean? In school, we say take a time out. Timeouts aren't just for kids. They're not just for children, but learn how to give yourself a short break. Learn how to do that. During these times when you're stressful, when you feel anger boiling, and when you feel your emotions going from 0 to 100, just learn how to get somewhere and be quiet. Because a few moments of quiet can help you prepare. It can help you respond properly. It can help you reply correctly. It can help you reply in such a way that you don't have to now try to unring a bell or try to eat your words. Cutler, why would you say all of that? Because anger never solves a problem, you all. A lot of times we're dealing with issues and situations and scenarios and problems, but may I say this to you? Anger never solves a problem. Anger is an intangible thing that does not have the capability or the capacity of resolving a problem. So who can do it, Cutler? If anger can't do it, you can. So what am I saying? I'm saying just don't become angry, but think about some solutions. Think about how your problem can be solved. Instead of focusing on what made you mad or what made you angry, say to yourself, now, do I have a problem here? And if I have a problem here, perhaps I need to come up with some solutions, some alternatives to see how I can resolve this issue. Kimberly, I'm a very calm person, but after that button keeps being tapped, I end up giving the look and walking away because I don't want to hurt the person that is talking crazy to me. Kimberly, can I tell you how much I appreciate you for saying that? Because a lot of times when our button has been pushed, thank you, as you said, a lot of times when our buttons have been pushed, we think, oh no, you've pushed my buttons, and so now I have the right to disrespect you, I have the right to cuss you out, I have the right to cut you down, I have the right to destroy you, I have the right to go at your soul. No, we still don't have that right, no matter how angry we become. So Kimberly, may I tell you how much I respect and admire you for that? I end up just walking away. Yeah, you give the look, but you end up walking away because look at what you said. You said, because I don't want to hurt the person that's talking crazy to me. And I so appreciate the maturity in that response. I appreciate the humanity in that response. Because no matter how much they tap my buttons and keep pushing my buttons, there's a part of me that respects them as a human. And I say to them, I don't have the right to hurt you. So what I'll do is to walk away. And I think, Jay Song, for you, that's what one of the things that Kimberly is just responding to, because you said in the moment, how do I manage not losing control, not getting angry, and at the same time not giving into the situation or person? Sometimes you just have to walk away. Because we know ourselves better than anybody else knows us. And you feel your blood boiling. You feel your pressure going up. You feel yourself losing control. Sometimes you've just got to walk away. And then people will talk about you. Oh, so that's what you're going to do? You're just going to walk away? Well, because it's best for you and for me if I walk away now. Because if I walk away, I have at least have an opportunity of mending the relationship. But if I say something, it might damage the relationship. If I say something disrespectful or hurtful or mean, then that may damage the relationship, and I may never be able to mend that. So absolutely turn and walk away. People lose control all the time. But it's best to walk away. And sometimes we get peer pressure. You know, growing up, little kids would call you a coward and all other kinds of words when you walked away. But turn and walk away for the sake of relationship. As an adult, you've got to realize, you know what? I got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Know when to walk away. Queen Nita, thank you. I don't ever want to infect others with negativity, but rather affect others with positive energy. Absolutely. So in the heat of anger, y'all, we have to become bigger than the situation. So that's how this conversation started. This conversation started by saying you are not defined by your situation, but you are defined by how you handle the situation. And life gives us a chance every single day to define who we are. And my walking away doesn't mean that I've lost anything. This is not a battle of the wits. But what I've done is to respond as a human being. But it is that mentality of elementary school that says, oh, okay, so you walked away, so now you're a coward. No, I'm an adult. Chase song for you. Look, and yeah, absolutely, Paul. Yes, hurt people. I try not to get upset with them and to add fuel to the situation, because my mother knows I say this from time to time. You never get in an argument with a fool because somebody passing by may not know the difference. Let me ask, okay, so which one is the fool? Because you don't get to become a clown and invite me to your circus. No, I'm not going to do that. Or make me look like a clown and then invite me to your circus. No, I'm not doing that. I'd rather walk away. And you say whatever you need to say, because at least when you say what you need to say, there's an opportunity to redeem the relationship. Relationships are important. And I think in our maturity and our humanity, we have to realize that relationships are important. So if I walk away, I'm walking away because I think that's what's best. And in that moment, I'm not so concerned about your process and how you handle it. I'm concerned about what I think is best for both of us in the moment. So Paula, you're right. It is hurt people who hurt people, and you don't want to add fuel to the fire. Antoinette says sometimes it's best to walk away because you sometimes say things that you can't take back. Antoinette, absolutely. A lot of times we end up saying things that we just can't take back, my friend. We say things and then we go and we say, I didn't mean it. But the damage is already done. You pierced my heart. You wounded my soul. And then you expect me to smile because you say, oh, I'm so sorry, Cutler, please forgive me. So now your expectation is that I forgive you, smile and act like everything is all right. And so then I walk around hypocritical to my own self because now my soul is wounded. And I have to act like everything is okay. You all invite people to this conversation because we're talking about how to handle anger. And how many of us know grown folk who don't know how to handle anger? Don't y'all, please don't turn and run. Stay at this conversation and invite them. We've got to learn how to handle anger. I think some of you all know, and if you don't, this is just a reminder. Some of you all know that 2 weeks ago, I did a eulogy for a 17-year-old boy who was killed, shot. High school senior who was killed or shot by whom? Another high school student. You got to learn how to handle anger and teach our children how to handle anger. It was devastating delivering a eulogy, sitting in the face of a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother who all said we should have been gone before this 17-year-old. We've got to learn how to handle anger. This is a serious matter. Say what you want to say about me when I walk away. At least I didn't take out a gun and shoot. I didn't use my car as an instrument to kill or murder. This is serious. You want to learn how to show up your best self in the worst of situations? Learn how to handle your anger. So yes, Antoinette, yes, my friend, sometimes it's best to just walk away. J-Song for you now, if I walk away, it seems that they have won. Now, how do I deal with the appearance of losing? The appearance of, because I ain't scared of nobody. The appearance of losing, it's, and I know, J-Song, that you're being facetious when you say that, but a lot of people do deal with that issue. They deal with that complex. Now I have to deal with the appearance of losing. No, it's not the appearance of losing. I have to deal with the fact that I won the possibility of restoring a relationship. It's about perspective. And so you have to say, it doesn't matter how I appear in the face of other people, because yes, to them, maybe it appears like I lost because I walked away, but no, I know I won the opportunity to restore relationship. I won the opportunity for my integrity to speak. I won the opportunity for my character to stand up. That's what I won. And so you have to see yourself as winning. It's about perspective. Yes, we all have a right to feel what we feel emotionally, but two wrongs don't make a right. That's true. You're absolutely right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, Linda, you're right. We got to share this with young folk who shoot each other over petty. Yes, that's exactly why I talked about having done the eulogy for a 17-year-old boy. It pierced my heart. Teenagers. And sometimes sometimes we're sitting in those situations and we say, well, we lost this person or we lost this person. No, it's not that we lost that person. That person's life was snatched away from us. And we don't get a chance. We just don't get a chance to undo that. I'm so serious about this. We don't get a chance to undo those senseless deaths. That thing still haunts me, you all. Standing there delivering the eulogy of this 17-year-old kid who should still, by all rights, be here. That thing, it pierces my heart and it still haunts me. We've got to teach our children how to handle anger. And we can't teach some of them how to handle anger because we don't know how to handle it. And we're still dealing with ego. I think one of the things, if we were to have a funeral for our ego, then we can give life to so many more relationships. Can I say that again? One of the things that we need to have a funeral for is our egos. Because if we were to have a funeral for our egos, then maybe we can celebrate the life of relationships more. Marriages would last if we would bury egos. Friendships would last if we would bury egos. Business affiliations would last if we would bury egos. Long-term friendships would endure if we could bury egos. I'm really trying to save somebody's life, and I mean that with all of my heart. We got to do that. I used to blow up during heated conversations, and later I would feel bad for letting my anger get the best of me. Now I just walk. Now I just walk. Now I just talk low and talk calmly when being verbally assaulted. Then I walk away. Allowing yourself to indulge in the anger with someone and losing yourself in it, it's like you give the other person, you give the person power, and you end up losing yourself. Sometimes you get in the middle of an argument, you get in the middle of an irrational situation. And can I say this to us? We get in the middle of those irrational situations and we lose ourselves. And then all of a sudden you look for yourself and you don't see yourself anymore. Why? Because you lost yourself in that irrational situation and you say, that's not who I am. But that's who you allowed yourself to become in that moment. That's who you allowed yourself to become in that moment. And we are better than that. We are so much better than that. We are bigger than that. We are connected to this thing that's called humanity. Bury these egos, you all. That's what we've got to do. If we were to have funerals for our egos, we can give life to our relationships. Truth of the matter, you ask people who are divorced, ask friendships that no longer last. And if people were to be honest, somebody would say it was my ego that got in the way. I was saying anger never solves a problem. So it's our responsibility to come up with solutions. It's our responsibility to come with alternatives. And when we start talking, y'all, I'm going to have to continue this next time, but can I say this? Burying egos is a good place. Because the next time when we continue this conversation, you all, I want to continue this conversation, because this pricks my heart. So if I decide not to walk away, how do I maintain control throughout the exchange? If you cannot maintain control throughout the exchange, then you need to walk away. But how do you maintain control throughout the exchange? And a lot of times, and I'm so glad you asked that song, Jay Song, for you, because what is it that you want to maintain control of? It's that we want to maintain control of ourselves. But a lot of times in the midst of anger, we're trying to maintain control of ourselves and the situation and the other person. And that, Paula D, you're right, and that is hard. So we have to do that. If you decide not to walk away, you have to make sure that the one thing that you're not trying to control is the other person. If I'm not going to walk away, the one thing that I need to focus on controlling in this situation is not the other person, and it's not the situation itself, but it's me. That's what I need to control in this situation if I'm not going to walk away. So if you decide not to walk away, you have to take some accountability and responsibility and say, you know what? I got to work on this. I owe it to my brother. I owe it to my sister. I owe it to myself not to look like a fool, not to look like a clown, because somebody passing by might not be able to tell the difference. All right? You all are asking for more. Y'all want me to continue? I'll keep going because I'm so passionate about this. I'm passionate about not losing lives. I'm passionate about not burying another 17-year-old boy, a 17-year-old kid. I'm passionate about that. As a professor, I will never forget. I walked out of my classroom one day and I looked at this board, and this was an 18-year-old freshman, and the board had in memoriam. It hurt me to my heart. And when I got the details, I discovered it was a senseless death. And I thought, how unfortunate. How unfortunate is this? So we have the responsibility. We owe it. We owe it to train up our children. We hear within the context of church, train up a child in the way he should go and all of that. And that is absolutely wonderful. But in addition to teaching them the spiritual components, teach them things like anger management, how to control your mouth, how to deal with your emotions, how to think before you speak, how to express yourself calmly, talk about what you need, how to reduce your stress. Just go outside, get some air, get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Take a time out. Realize that anger doesn't resolve any problems, but you got to come up with situations yourself. You got to come up with it. And when you talk, well, thank you for giving me the permission to go over tonight. And we have to also learn how, we've got to learn how, when we talk to people, not to be so accusatory. I hope this is helping somebody. Tell them to catch the replay. Invite somebody to come on in. The conversation is going to extend. And we have got to tell people, when you start talking to people, don't be so accusatory, even when you're angry. Don't start your sentences with the word you. You made me mad. You upset. You did this. No, stop doing that. And learn how to use words that begin, sentences that begin with I. I'm bothered. I'm upset. I'm hurt. And a lot of times you have to even ask yourself, am I angry? Or am I too, you're not going to like me for this one. Am I angry? Am I really angry? Or am I too much of a coward to confess that I'm not angry, but I'm hurt? Because a lot of times we're not angry, we're hurt by a situation, but we want to cover up our hurt because it makes me look like a coward. It makes me look weak to say I'm hurt. So sometimes you've got to ask yourself, am I really angry? Or am I being a bully? Am I hurt, but I'm too afraid to look vulnerable? So I bolster myself and I posture myself in the position to become angry. So let's learn not to start these words with these sentences with the word you. You did this, you did that, and you become so accusatory and start trying to say, you know what? I so-and-so. I so-and-so. Because I've discovered, you all, in my brief time on this thing that's called Earth, that there were more times when I was hurt rather than angry. And people are more inclined to respond to the fact that they hurt you rather than angered you, because when you speak of your hurt, you speak out of the depth of your soul. You speak out of your humanity, and you speak from a place that's vulnerable, and you show people your vulnerability. No, you hurt me when you, no, I'm hurt by what you said. I'm disappointed. I'm bothered. And so that's what you do. And so if you're hurt, that's what you do. And it is possible, Doug. Thank you for asking that question. And thank you for coming to the platform, my friend. Thank you for asking that question, because a lot of times we can be hurt and angry. The two are not mutually exclusive, but they can coexist. And we have to deal with each of those emotions in their own vial. So within the content of anger, now I have to deal with anger, and I have to follow these tips for anger. But within the content of hurt, I have to deal with my hurt as well, because I have to ask myself, am I willing to deal with the vulnerability of letting this person know that I'm hurt? And so, but do I really want to cover that hurt up? And so the two can coexist, and we have to deal with them separately. M. Harris, thank you, my friend. Yes, it is hurt, but I wouldn't admit in that moment. At those times, I'd rather fight verbally and physically. Thank you, my friend, for at least admitting that, so I don't feel like I'm out there on an island just talking nonsensical and foolishness. But a lot of times, we are hurt, and we have to teach our children how to deal with hurt and not mask it as anger. It's a lot. We have a lot of work to do, because that way, if I can deal with the hurt, I know what I'm dealing with. If I can deal with the anger, I know what I'm dealing with. And we have to learn not to hold grudges. We've got to learn not to hold grudges. One of the quickest ways, thank you all. I'll just go maybe for 3 more minutes. But one of the quickest ways to be labeled as a bitter and nasty person is to hold grudges. And some of us are been holding grudges for generations. You're mad at people because your grandparents are mad at them. You're mad at their grandchildren because your grandparents are mad at their grandparents. Your parents are mad at their parents, and now you're mad at them, and you don't even know why you're mad, but you're holding grudges. One of the quickest ways to become labeled as a bitter and nasty person is to hold a grudge, but I have to go to somewhere where my faith finds an answer. There's a saying that says, be not hasty in your spirit, in your soul to be angry, for anger resides in the bosom of a fool. Quickest way to be called a nasty person, a bitter person, a fool, is to hold grudges. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. And need I say once again on this platform, if I said it tonight, I've probably said it 50 times already, that forgiveness is more about you and less about them. I've learned to forgive you because it's best for me. But when you make me angry, I don't owe you forgiveness. I do that because it's for me. I do it because it's for me. Couple tips, y'all, and then I got to get up out of here. I know some of us use lots of tools. We use lots of tools to cope, lots of mechanisms. And one of the things that we sometimes use is humor. But you got to be very careful with handling and dealing with humor in the middle of an anger type situation. Laugh if you can, but make sure that you're not sarcastic, because sarcasm can still make things worse. If laughter can lighten the situation and break the tenseness of a moment, the tension of a moment, absolutely do that. If humor works, then do it. But if it's going to come across as sarcasm, be very careful, because sarcasm can hurt feelings and make things worse. Why would we rather fight than step back and admit we're wrong? It's our ego. Why would we rather fight rather than step back and admit that we're wrong? Jay's song for you, it's because of our egos. And our egos will put us... A lot of people are in the grave because of their Jay song for you. Don't make me go here again. Please don't. But a lot of people are in the grave, my friend, because of their egos. A lot of people are in jails because of their egos. A lot of people are walking around with one limb because of their egos. A lot of people are walking around with maimed bodies because of their egos. A lot of people are walking around with with residual mental and psychological issues because of egos. Because they'd rather fight than step back. The ego is a powerful thing. And we all have one. And we have to learn how to put it in check. We have the ego, the super ego, and the id, but it's that ego that we need to learn how to put in check. So what do we do? From a practical perspective, I would never forget. Y'all tell me if this happens to you. Sometimes when I become angry, one of the first things I do is go, and you hold your breath. You end up holding your breath. Does anybody else do that? When you get angry, you go and you hold your breath. Stop holding your breath. Just breathe. When you get angry, stop tensing up and just breathe. Just breathe. When your temper flares, when your blood is boiling, when you're going from 0 to 100, stop holding and just breathe. Just breathe. I wish I could be there with us when we became angry, because I would say, just breathe. I'd rub you on your chest, pat you on your back, and lift one hand and say, just breathe. But I can't be there with us all. So I empower us to be there for each other. Take these words, take them to heart, listen to them, and work with people who you know are angry. Help them out, you all. Because one of the final things that I'm going to suggest, maybe all of the answers are not found in this dialogue that we're having this evening. So maybe some of us really need to go. Jay song for you, you said it earlier. You said you went to an anger management. You had the opportunity to participate in anger management. Maybe, just maybe, this dialogue tonight just starts something. And maybe we need to go and seek help. Maybe we need professional assistance with learning how to manage our anger. M. Harris, just breathe. I need that gas to prevent the wrong words from coming out. Well, M. Harris, in that case, gasp and then breathe. Because sometimes the gasp is when you're thinking before you speak. So I appreciate that. Does that mean you're going to write a Just Breathe book? I'm not sure. Jay song for you. I don't know. I may have to write a Just Breathe poem, a Just Breathe book, or Just Breathe something. Maybe you can write a Just Breathe something. M. Harris, lots of churches now offer anger management classes. They are a blessing. I think, M. Harris, thank you. I think anger management needs to show up in every venue. I think it needs to show up in the churches. Think it needs to show up in the schools. I think it needs to show up in workplaces. I think it needs to show up in homes. I really, really do. Because anger is a real emotion. And we need to learn how to handle it. Lest we bury more 17-year-olds. I think we need to handle it. Thank you all so much for giving me the space and the permission to extend my time with you all this evening. Thank you all so much. Tell other people, come on, let's talk to Cutler. We're going to do this every Tuesday and every Thursday. Got some things that are coming up. So March begins tomorrow, and I have some things that are coming up in March, and I want to talk to you all about those, because March now makes 3 years that I've been doing this. Paula D says, I have to hold my breath. My silence speaks volumes. Absolutely. And I can respect that sometimes we need to hold our breath, because that is the space where we think. That is the space where we reason. That is the space where we find ourselves as rational people. That is the space where we allow our integrity to come forth. And that is the space where we stand true to our character. So I can certainly appreciate that. You all, thank you again for allowing me this time. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up and our hopes up. Let's all stay safe, stay sane. Thank you all again for this additional time. And I will see you all right here Thursday. Until then, tell somebody, come on and let's talk to Cutler. I will see you all later. Again, good night. And please know this, that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Good night, everybody.